Ta, 1976, The Far Traveler. In The Big Black Mark, Grimes was threatened with arrest and a court-martial following the mutiny aboard FSS Discovery. Grimes resigns his commission and trades jobs with the Baroness Michelle d'Estaing's current captain of her private yacht, the Far Traveler. The Baroness is an ethnographer who is studying the cultures of lost colonies. She is an Eldoradan, a planet terraformed by the richest people in the galaxy. The Far Traveler is equipped with an AI computer system named Big Sister. Grimes accompanies the Baroness to Far Haven, where he is overcome by the telepathic control of a sentient fungus. The Baroness uses the sexual attraction Grimes holds for her to break the control. They believe they've discovered another lost colony, but it turns out the passengers and crew are long gone. A retelling of the earlier Operation Star Quest. They visit Morovia, where Drongo Kane is up to his old tricks, claiming to have discovered the true inhabitants of that world in a bid to keep his white slave trade business going. They encounter Brarder, a machine intelligence from an alternate universe, and Big Sister falls in love. All the while, Grimes has been after the Baroness and is close to consummating his interest when Drongo Kane shows up once again. Apparently, the Baroness has a thing for bad boys. Now that Kane is on the scene, she dismisses Grimes, awarding him the Far Traveler's pinnace in lieu of back pay. Daw, 1977, Star Courier. Grimes sets himself up in business as a courier passenger service, naming it Far Traveler Couriers. His first job is to transport a shipment of strawberries from Terralbin to Bogarty. The Bogartians are humanoid, but not human. Their king uses strawberries as an aphrodisiac. Grimes is pleased when the Terralbin postmistress decides to accompany him on the trip as a sort of working vacation. Grimes secretly emplaces recording equipment in the pinnace, which he has named Little Sister, as a hedge against possible future claims of impropriety. The trip is going swimmingly for all involved when they are captured by a rogue Shara queen. The queen is attempting to take over Darija, inhabited by humanoids. The Shara's plan is to present Grimes and Haverstock as captured deities of an old Darijan religion, one practice of which is public fornication. The Shara use Grimes' tapes and fly Grimes and Haverstock around to different Darijan cities to perform. However, the humans are rescued by adherents of the old religion, and together they turn the tables on the Shara. Grimes and Haverstock complete their trip to Bogarty, although this leg of their journey is decidedly chaste. Void Corey and Collins, Frontier Worlds, 1983. Grimes and the Odd Gods. Later in his career, Grimes relates this tale to Kitty Kelly, a star reporter. Far Traveler Couriers transport Stagatha, a priestess of a very repressive religion, to a world where she plans to proselytize. The natives are sun worshippers. As Stagatha is having an impact on the indigenes, the sun goes nova. Grimes believes it may have been the action of a jealous god. Duh, 1978, To Keep the Ship. Grimes takes on a job as a shipkeeper, echoing Chandler's time as shipkeeper of the Australian aircraft carrier HMAS Melbourne. Grimes is laid up following a lawsuit. His previous delivery met with disaster, Grimes failing to read the instructions on the care and feeding of exotic zoo animals, which led to disastrous consequences, including being sued into near bankruptcy. While awaiting the courts to resolve things, he takes a job shipkeeping the former Bronson Star. While in orbit, the ship is seized by revolutionaries who demand that Grimes transport them to pick up Confederates and then take them to Porlock, where they plan to take over the government. During the long voyage, Susie and Hodge, two of the revolutionaries, begin to get acquainted with Grimes. Eventually, Grimes convinces them to help him foil the plans and escape, which they do, seizing the revolutionaries' war chest in the bargain. Grimes takes them to a world where they can get their identities altered, and in the process is gifted with a miniature homunculus of Susie in a jar. During the return voyage, the jar smashes and Grimes dumps the residue in the algae vats, where it morphs into multiple miniature Susies that threaten to take over the ship. Grimes, seeking refuge in an airlock, is ultimately rescued by Maggie Lazenby, who shows up with the Federation in tow. 1979, Matilda's Stepchildren. Grimes is hired by Fenella Pruin, a star investigative reporter, to transport her to New Venusberg, the pleasure planet, where any pleasure can be had for a price. During their investigations, they are harried by several Shara, compatriots of the Queen that Grimes tangled with on Darija, and they uncover the fact that Willy Willy, an Able Enterprises ship, Able Enterprises being Drongo Kane's company, is importing women to New Venusberg from a world named New Alice. Investigating, Grimes, as recognized by Aloysius Dreebly, captain of Willy Willy, and both Grimes and Pruin are captured. Their fate is to become victims in the Snuff Palace, a New Venusberg attraction that is exactly what it sounds like. However, they manage to escape with two refugees from New Alice, Cheryl and Darlene, and end up discovering an escaped slave colony. From there, they manage to get passage back to the port where Drongo Kane and the Baroness de Stang have landed in Southerly Buster. The illegal goings-on are reported to the Baroness, who has a major ownership stake in New Venusberg. She assists Grimes, Pruin, Cheryl, and Darlene in leaving the planet and promises to make reforms. The Magazine of Fantasy and Science Fiction, May 1984. Grimes and the Jailbirds. Grimes is between jobs after delivering mail to Helmskirk, and so takes a temporary job ferrying supplies and passengers to the prison moon, Shale. On one trip, a political prisoner, Evangeline, manages to stow away aboard Little Sister. Grimes assists in her escape, but she is eventually recaptured. Grimes is not suspected. Little Sister is again in port on Shale when a prison riot breaks out. Evangeline and other prisoners have been hoarding moonstones, gemstones mined on Shale, and have used them to bribe guards and others. The revolt is partially successful, with Evangeline getting aboard Little Sister with the hoard of jewels before the revolt is put down. 1980, Star Loot. Grimes is persuaded to sell Little Sister for a quite handsome sum. He is then approached by Magda Granadu and Billy Williams, two spacers, who show up at his hotel room with a suggestion that they pool their resources and purchase a used ship, Epsilon Scorpii, and go into business together. Grimes is eventually persuaded. Once aboard ship, Grimes has a prevision of himself on the ship, but it is named Faraway Quest, not Sister Sue. They hire the remainder of a crew, with some difficulty as one member, Kate Connellan, is in jail. In seeking to get her released, Grimes once again runs into Una Freeman, now the police commissioner. He arranges to get Connellan released. Grimes is approached by Commodore Damien of the FSS Intelligence Service. Damien recommissions Grimes as a reserve intelligence officer in the FSS and tasks Grimes with commanding a privateering fleet put together by Baron Kane of El Dorado. There is a Halacheki world attempting to break away from the Halachek hegemony that will issue letters of marque. Damien's plan is for Grimes to accidentally commit an act of piracy, rather than an act of privateering, that will allow the Federation to intervene. Grimes brings 3 other ships into his privateering fleet, the Pride of Erin, Agatha's Ark, and Spaceway's Princess. The privateering is successful, each ship taking home a prize when Sister Sue commits the act of piracy. Grimes is arrested, his ship seized, and his certificates canceled. Daw, 1981. The Anarch Lords. On the beach, Grimes is persuaded by Damien once again to accept a job for the FSS Intelligence Branch. He is appointed to be the FSS Governor General of the Liberia Colony, a colony on which Federation officers have set themselves up as dictators. Grimes is supplied with Federation contacts among the Liberian rebellion. Most Liberian inhabitants are refugees in a state of indentured servitude. Grimes uses the rebellion to uncover the illegal deeds of the Federation officers. His task complete, and before resigning his commission, he issues Liberian captain certificates to himself. Daw, 1984. The Last Amazon. Grimes returns to New Sparta, the lost colony he rediscovered in the novel Spartan Planet, where he finds Dr. Margaret Lazenby is on hand to study the new Spartan colony. He also finds that Brasidas, the Archon, head of the colony, has taken a wife, Elena. Elena has her own plans and has Brasidas kidnapped so that he cannot attend a swearing-in ceremony, Elena taking his place instead. Grimes and Lazenby rescue Brasidas and assist him in overthrowing Elena and restoring order to the colony. HarperCollins. Dreaming Again, 2008. Grimes and the Gaijin Daimyo. Grimes relates a time travel tale to Kitty Kelly that inserts Grimes and company into the story of John Blackthorne, the Anjin-sama of medieval Japan. Daw, 1984. The Wild Ones. Grimes is taking a vacation on Earth, visiting his parents with Cheryl and Darlene. His father, George, has acquired a humanoid robot named Clockwork Kitty. Grimes's mother is not that pleased and persuades George to gift John with the robot. Grimes is next persuaded by Damien to take work visiting New Salem, a religiously repressive colony where it is believed that the indigenous Silkies might be an intelligent species that is being abused by the human colonists. Grimes visits, finds that the Silkies are indeed intelligent. Clockwork Kitty establishes communications with them and becomes an avenging angel. Grimes effectively shuts down the now illegal trade in silky fur. And so John Grimes's middle career comes to a close. Soon after leaving New Salem, Grimes, crew, and Sister Sue make their way to the Rimworld's Confederacy, where Grimes has the ship enrolled in the Rimrunners fleet, renaming her Faraway Quest. Grimes becomes the astronautical superintendent of the Rimrunners shipping fleet and a rear admiral in the Confederacy's Reserve Navy, while retaining his commission as a reserve intelligence officer in the Federation Survey Service. We'll pick up in Part 3, with Grimes assisting in the discovery of the antimatter worlds of the Lanathi Consortium in Chance Encounter.